You had this position not just one time, twice.
Right.
So, what is the first memory that you have of this position?
Yeah, definitely the game with Anatoly Karpov. I think uh, any player cannot forget the game, the win against Karpov. And this was my favorite opening. I have to say that I got many wins in this line.
Right.
Uh, and it's also possible that people will not be well prepared because it's quite an old line. It's a very old line.
Right. Right. To the
And
audience,
so it
this
was a
yeah.
and that too it was a rapid game.
Right. Right. To the audience, this happened in 2006. Koneru Humpy is white and Karpov is black. Well, there's no need to introduce who is Karpov, but let me just say that Karpov is a fantastic rapid player and blitz player. I mean, apart from classical. So yeah. So you played Queen F3 here. No, sorry, Queen C6.
Right. Queen of three.
Yeah, and also very recently in
Six again with Valentina Gunina. Yeah.
in Gunin.
I had the same opening. I left almost playing this line many years ago because later on my opponent started to make easy draws, so
Right,
I stopped it playing for a while.
right. And Gunina took here, and that happened in 2020 actually in February. But
Yeah,
in this game, Karpov played Knight C5. Uh,
right.
to the audience, I will be anyway posting the links of the games, after the show once the video gets uploaded. So you will have the full games later. So for now, we'll just see the positions. Bishop already. I think you're doing better,
Yeah, it's
right?
always better for white. The this yeah.
And I actually like this finish.
Right. No, basically Queen C6 is the bad move.
Exactly, exactly. Your Queen C6
Black
is the bad
should,
move.
yeah, here black should go for knight
Knight
c5.
C5 is the main move here.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
main.
Knight C5 is the main move.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, the audience is asking what is the name of the opening. I think it is called some kind of Mehran.
right.
Just thinking why you didn't give check first. Probably doesn't matter. Anyway, next move also you can give.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, yeah, I am also thinking suddenly that why not check and then play F3. Yeah, well, essentially, I think it doesn't matter because, okay, this knight is attacked, so Black King is not running anywhere. Yeah, this is completely stuck.
No, after Queen C6, once you get the Queen to F3 H3, it's almost game over. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, no,
you just need to give a clean finish. That's it.
yeah. No, this game was basically Karpov resigned after a few moves. All right, let's move to the next one. Uh, this game is last round in Abu Dhabi. Humpy is playing against. No, penultimate round or last round?
This is the last round. Yeah, this was the last round.
Right, right. So this is the game which got you to 2600, if I am not mistaken.
Right. Yeah. In this tournament, I think I played pretty strong. I also won with Lee Quiang Liang in one of the Relovers Night End games.
Right,
So I had very decent games in these tournaments with strong opposition.
right. I remember this because I also played this particular tournament.
Yeah.
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 So E5. This is against Miroshnichenko. And Miroshnichenko was 2671 at that time. I actually remember Humpy. Like suddenly now some old memories are coming back. This tournament I also played, and you were the you first crossed 2600. I was still not 2600, and I think
Oh,
yeah, I'm pretty sure about this. I crossed 2600 later. So on the last day, you and your father were in some restaurant, and I think I met both of you. And then you told me, don't worry, you will also become 2600 one day. I was like,
Oh,
okay.
really? You had a better memory than me.
Yeah. So I kind of like this move. This was, I think, very important.
White is having a space and development advantage. Now
Mhm.
it's and this queen a6 is quite upward, so you're just trying to harass that and get this c4 square for the knight.
Yeah, I like the sequence that you first play a4 and
Yeah,
you don't immediately take it, which looks tempting, but instead
yeah,
you go knight c4.
right, right.
Well, having Humpy in the team is a special privilege because unlike many other players, Humpy's positions are usually in control. So when you look at Humpy's position, you feel confident. And unfortunately, Humpy for me, I have always played against your team because you are in ONGC, I'm in Indian Oil. So you always gave me nightmare. Whenever I look at your position, while playing Interpetroleum, if you are playing against one of my colleagues, every time you would have some very stable position, and I will not be happy looking at your position.
No,
So
I think those days I even used to take these interpetroleum tournaments in a very competitive way.
right.
Uh, but now I don't know. I'm not so serious in some of the tournaments, and unless I'm motivated towards it.
I cannot even respond to this. Like if you're not taking it very seriously, and if you play without expectation, probably it is even more bad news for our team. So yeah, this was a very clean victory also.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're just exchange up and there is nothing to see.
Right.
Padmini is saying that I'm fortunate to have played along with her.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, this particular game, yeah, I don't know if you remember this particular game. This is in Vykanzi 2008.
Okay.
Humpy played against Krasenkov. Uh, so to have this interview, I was also going through many of your games, and
Mm-hmm.
there are many favorites. This will be definitely one among the top. I was damn impressed with your technique and your patience level.
I don't remember this game at all. Probably now I should have a look.
Yeah, now you should have a look. Yeah, this was very impressive for me. So okay, you are right here. Uh, yeah, to break the center. Black is probably threatening. Sorry, black is probably threatening some kind of knight c5.
Right.
Yeah. Bishop d2, yes. And yeah, slowly it starts. Humpy's maneuver.
The night maneuver, yeah.
Hmm. And okay, you are playing against Krasenkov, who is also very strong player. He was 2700 once. I was very impressed the way you converted this position. I don't see this very often actually. Like this is 2008. How old were you back then?
Yeah, I was 21.
Okay, 21. Vishnu is saying put the knight to d3. Okay. Rook a4 because again the knight is coming back at some point probably. Yeah, so this is also very typical Humpy kind of move, if I say. Like it's very annoying to play with her, to be honest, when she has advantage, because she will keep on improving slowly and she will not let the advantage slip away. So these are the moments. King g2, like just doing nothing and slowly improving. Humpy, this has always been your strength also, no? Like you never rush.
Yeah, actually, I had a positional style a lot, so these moves are quite common in my games.
Yeah,
I think slowly later on I improved my tactical skills.
right. And now again, this knight is coming to c4.
Yeah, I'll make all the regroupings
Yeah,
possible. The regroupings.
yeah. Always very slowly
Yeah,
playing, because okay, these knights are also lacking
yeah.
square. And now this endgame, I found it very instructive actually, very instructive for any players. Like I'm not just talking about it, grandmaster, even those like who have just started playing chess. These kind of games, I think it gives you an idea how a strong player plays, and the patience level, yeah, to do things very slowly and keeping control. Everything is going as per plan. I mean, I was actually tempted before this show that I would just show this game and tell this has been played by Karpov, and I'm pretty sure if I show it, nobody would have said anything. Yeah, they would have believed it. Kidambi is already writing in chat that no wonder Karpov is her favorite player. Such a slow maneuver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to understand what is Bishop E1 right now. Okay, you're still waiting. Look at this. I mean, somehow black is constantly stuck. Still waiting.
I'm just wondering how I managed to win it finally.
No, you won it very clean. I was even checking this game with computer.
Okay.
It's very good technique. I mean, what to do? Yeah, like eventually pieces are coming. Eventually,
Yeah,
these pawns will.
yeah, yeah,
These
yeah.
are all weaknesses. And I was when I was looking at this game, I saw even here you were very patient. Like very natural move could be like to play
Well,
e5.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, to play as early as possible. But you are being so patient here. Even here, I think playing to play like moves
Yeah.
like king
Not
c3.
to
Let's
get
say
this. Yeah, yeah.
to play moves like king c3 here. I think it shows the amount of patience you have in general.
No, when I was young, I played this. If I remember, it's under 15 nationals, which was won by Tejas Bakre in Sivakasi. I
Right.
think Maheshchandran was second or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was 9 or even younger. So I was the only girl in that national tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and I was the only player who used to finish. Um, uh, I used to play till the final time control. The arbiters used to wait for my game to finish.
Yeah.
That's an everyday program. Like myself, my dad and arbiters, we all used to go out of the tournament hall at the same time.
Yeah. And now I'm
So,
thinking like,
so
okay, yeah,
like playing long games is very common for me. Even if it's a losing game, I used to end up playing the 7 hours.
yeah. And if there will be ever a national team championship where every state is, fielding their own players, and you guys, Andhra Pradesh, like eventually comes up with Hari and Harika, you and Lalit Babu, we will see 7 hours on every single board.
I agree.
Yeah. By the way, I wanted to talk about your movie interest. I forgot.
Oh,
I had some photos with you and some actors, but I think I forgot to add it here. I'll show it tomorrow. I would like to talk a little bit about your Telugu movie interest also.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to next game. Yeah. This one.
This is the latest one, yeah. This Grand Prix event.
Yeah, Grand Prix, and I don't know where it took place. This is against Alina
Uh,
Kashlinskaya.
yeah, this is a tricky opening preparation actually. I even played this position with black. So generally, when the pawn is, yeah, I can just go ahead a little bit.
I know this position because I played from both colors, but also from black side. So the main line is a3 and knight d4. This comes from Ragozin.
Right.
And yeah, ed4 is one of the moves,
Right.
but not very common. Not very common.
Not very common.
Yeah.
But it's known to everyone that when the pawn is on d4, this typical knight c6 doesn't work in some positions.
Correct.
Like you need to get bishop to d7 and c6.
Correct.
And then the knight to d7, f6 to support this h7 diagonal and to get control over the d5 square.
Correct.
So it's a typical plan what usually black will remember.
And so you were prepared when you played ed4. Yeah, it's not that common. I mean, it has been played.
No, I prepared this. Yeah.
Yeah. It is very interesting that 12th move you play a line which is let's put it this way, that it has been played but not as popular as a3 and knight d4, and in another 8 moves you win the game.
Now here the point is, like, I'm keeping the option of not playing a3 because once I start with a3 instead of queen c2, black can even go bishop d6. Here, okay, now I can't play something like queen c2 because bishop f4 is annoying.
Right.
And also one more point is, after a3, bishop a5, black had an option of going bishop b6 immediately. Like sometimes I might get a chance to play b4 and knight c5 with a tempo.
Right.
So I'm keeping an option. So I start with queen c2.
Right. Bishop d7.
So the best step is not to go for bishop d7. Yeah, it's better to start with bishop a5.
Seriously?
Yeah, or even maybe knight c6. Yeah.
Not very obvious.
I think bishop, yeah, but bishop a5 is it's really strong. Yeah. Because after a3 you can even go bb6 or knight c6.
Yeah, I now I see that later when Kashlinskaya played, she played knight c6.
Later it was okay, even knight c6. Yeah. And a3, bishop a5, bishop b6 is the correct plan. Now this is slightly better for white for sure. Here I get the tempo. Yeah, this is the main point in the a3.
Right, and you are eventually coming for d5. But
right,
yeah, and here she blundered, and Humpy, although she claims to be positional, which she is, she plays very positionally, but she is very sharp tactically. I mean, she is very alert, so she will not miss her chances. So here the following happened. To get out of this pin, Alina played queen c7, and yeah, immediately. Now I think it's completely lost.
Yeah, so
probably something else she had to play. I don't know. I'm just thinking loud. Maybe bishop d5 or something. I don't know. But even then, you can take and play some knight c3. No?
Well, then I can take a knight c3 d5. Yeah.
But after this, it was very nice.
But okay, this one is immediate lost. Nothing.
This is lost here. This is just gone. Yeah. This one also. This is against Ferenc Berkes.
Okay.
He was 26-30 back then, and this is, we are talking about World Junior Cochin 2004. So some
World Junior Boys.
World Junior Boys, of course, yeah. And Yeah, I also chose some of your games from your younger age, just to show even back then how subtle chess you were playing. Humpy, explain your following move. What was the point?
Yeah, because here I need to regroup this knight to the best possible square. That's knight to e3.
Okay.
And also to play this f4 break, knight h4 doesn't have any work.
Right.
So I'll just shuffle it to e3 and then slowly plan for f4 break. I even had this option of long castle.
Right.
Because there is no black square bishop on g7, so it's not dangerous to open the diagonal.
Yeah, it's very interesting that the way you slowly outplayed her, outplayed him.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe she should have did bishop
Bishop
h3 at some
a3,
point. Yeah,
bishop a knight e3 and knight also to g4 maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because this game was so much one-sided after a certain point.
Yeah, because here black king is very weak.
I also
Probably black should have also went for long castle.
yeah
Even though it is better there, but still it's a different game.
sure, and I also like your following move. It's kind of
Bishop.
interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because
blocking everything.
yeah, there's just nothing black can do on queen side. Everything is very solid here.
On the play at all. Yeah. See again, if at all it goes to endgame at some point, this knight will go to c4.
Yeah.
Attacking this d6 pawn constantly.
Exactly. Finally, pieces are coming. Yeah, this king just now everything is stuck.
Yeah.
Oh, this is kind of nice. Yeah, this knight actually came back all the way from h4 g2.
From h4 to yeah.
And now
it goes back.
Now it goes back. Now it goes back all the way and gets to g6.
No, it's like a machine. Yeah, if you give a position, it will just find the plan in that position.
Yeah.
So in the same way, the knight goes back to the best possible square again.
Yeah, and white pawn. Such a nice game.
Thank you.
I have lots of favorite games. This one is also analyzed by you. This is against Pia Kramling from Istanbul FIDE Grand Prix 2009.
Ah, okay. Now I remember. Yeah.
You remember, yeah?
Yeah, this night maneuver.
Yeah. It's very nice. So I selected few games where it is like about your strategy. I should not say only I selected, because I have lots of help from the viewers here. Many grandmasters are also helping me selecting the games. So they also so that there are like many of us who are actually seeing your games and finding what are the games that we should show. So okay, let's see. Okay, rook c7. What was the idea? Just to explain.
Because here white is going to play rook b1, threatening a5. So I'm just defending the b7 pawn. At the same time, I'm controlling this d7 square to give the 4. And I'm going to maneuver this knight to c8 and d6.
Right.
Because this kind of pawn structure, it's very important to control f3 e4 break.
Sure. And this knight to d6, it just reminds me.
It's of the e4, and also it supports the c pawn.
Yes.
And later on, it might be helpful in getting knight f5, knight h4 at some point.
Right. There is a very famous game by Petrosian, and then similar structure, and also by Kasparov in slightly different. The pawn was on c6, but I'm talking about this knight getting to d6. Now you cannot play this because there is knight d7.
Yeah, this fork, knight d7 fork. Now I wanted to just remove this strong outpost, strong knight in the center with f6.
Right. And now the knight is gone. Immediately you again want to get.
Because white is going to play b5.
Then
So,
knight e4.
Yeah.
So finally you got what you wanted to get. So this knight is protecting here. It stops e4. And okay, sometimes in future it can also go here. So now probably she wants to change the queen.
Yeah.
Some kind of e4 is coming.
I'm stopping that e4.
and I like this this particular maneuver also. I have not seen, this is not very conventional maneuver, I must say. It's not very common what you played here.
Rook c6 and a6.
Yeah. I actually like it. And now you are again coming for this pawn.
Right. So unless white gets this e4 break, it's a very
difficult position for white.
Difficult position for white, yeah.
Right.
The structure is very bad.
Right. And now you managed, you solved your b7 problem permanently.
Yeah, all the queen side is fixed now. So now I'm going to shift it to the king side slowly. I'm just fixing up the position on the queen side. Yeah.
And now, now everything is fixed here.
Yeah.
Now you switch. Probably getting the rook here. Just strategically outplayed.
Yeah.
This was a nice combination also. Yeah, and finally you won this endgame.
Right.
Very impressive. Your technique, your alertness, extremely impressive. Humpy, can we do 2 more games?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I mean, I would love to do as many games as possible, but you can just simply tell me when you have to, when you have some work. Yeah? Wait, not this one. I didn't want right now. Yeah, I wanted to shoot this one against Zhao Xue. This is 2016, and once again playing in the similar manner. Badmini says fantastic game. b4. I think this b4 is a strategical blunder in this position. That's what I felt when I looked at this game.
Just before this move, if I remember well, my knight was on some f8 or something. I came back to 7. Probably I wasted a move, expecting this b4.
You expected b4, yeah. b4 is a strategical blunder, and it's very classical mistake. Like, yeah. So you immediately punished her by playing b5. It's very thematic.
Yeah. Yeah, once the knight sits on c4, it's a big trouble for white.
Yeah. And also, I like the subtle ideas. Like, you want to play queen e7, obviously. Like, queen is ideally placed on e7.
But before that, I'll make commitment with the light squares. Yeah, I'll have a target to play h5, h4.
Exactly. Now with this,
sometimes sacrifices on e3. Yeah.
Right. And once again, very nice maneuver. Get your bishop to f5. And this also I like. Like, you have all the discrimination whether when to take or not to take, because clearly she is not going to take. But now that you sense that you have,
because here once the knight is on c5, she's planning to play a4. So now it's time for me to decide on which wing I to play. So definitely it's on the king side, because here she had all her pieces on the queen side.
Sure. Very strategically fine move. and then immediately you start on the other side. It's interesting, yeah. Like you want to play h5, h4, so you first block this diagonal, and now you want to go h5, h4.
And also I get the space for my king to play king g7 and rook h8, queen g5, everything.
Yeah.
So, okay, white doesn't have a black squared bishop, so it's fine. I can play whatever I want.
Absolutely, absolutely. And here she was helpless because, I mean, her pieces are not doing anything. This knight actually looks very good, but it is doing just zero work.
Yeah, not even a pawn to attack.
Not even a pawn to attack, exactly. And yeah, now your bishop is collecting every single thing. Yeah, finally she resigned here. Very controlled game. Like, I wanted to show some of these games because I felt if I can learn a lot from seeing this game, I'm sure my audience can also learn.
This double bishop sacrifice, yeah?
Yeah, this double. Yeah, it's a famous. We call this Lasker sacrifice, and I don't know.
Yeah, just yesterday.
Nisha, exactly. I was going to say that.
The video where she explained this.
Exactly, I was going to say that, and that's why I also chose this game because this was also showed in Nisha's YouTube channel. She was explaining this game. It's pretty. It's very pretty. Lasker did this sacrifice. I think it is known as Lasker sacrifice. I don't know if he was the first one to do it. Yeah, and then you won. Yeah, I just picked a few position, not the moments, just to show your, just to show the tricky side of Humpy, like how she can be very cunning even in some equalist position. So this is against Yu Xiaobin in Malaysian Open 2005. The position is, yeah, black is comfortable, but objectively speaking, it's equal. Just one casual move. Humpy is alert. One wrong move. Game over. Humpy, how did you develop your tactical eyesight? What did you do?
Just two problems like any other chess player. Nothing great work.
No great work. We know you did not read books.
No, the only books I know well was those combination books where I used to solve all the problems with the techniques.
Right. There is one last game I want to show. Yeah, so it happened number of times in your career when you had to win on demand.
Right. Yeah.
And even with black pieces, white pieces, it doesn't matter. There were so many moments.
Yeah.
Tell us what do you do in such situations? Like you have to win with black pieces. How do you approach the game? What is your mindset?
Well, there are different type of situations. Sometimes, like I just right away go for some sort of preparation to outplay them from the opening. It depends upon the opponent and their style. There are also times when I just tell myself that okay, whatever happens, you should just play your game. That's how I prepare myself, and I'll go to the board. Sometimes it also works.
Right.
So okay, I think winning is always not one-sided. You also need some favor from your opponent.
Sure. But we know one thing, that you are never shying away from playing long games. This you are never avoiding. You are always ready to play until the end.
Yeah, definitely up to a certain point. Probably Now sometimes I even play some short games, but majority of the time, yes, I just keep on fighting.
Right. So this particular game, Humpy, that I wanted to discuss, this was against Fomini. I don't know if our young players are aware of Fomini. Fomini is a fantastic player. He was very peculiar. He had very peculiar style. He was 25-59 at this point, and he had his own openings in every variation. He would have his own openings, and he was very solid. I mean, beating
Yeah.
beating Fomini from black side. Those who have played against Fomini, they only know how difficult it was in back in 2004. Humpy, you chose Kings Indian for this line, for
I
this
have
game.
to tell one funny incident.
Tell, please.
Like this event, for me needs a draw.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember whether to become a champion or to tie for the first place, something like this.
Right.
So, and I need a win
Okay.
to tie for the top spot. And
Mm-hmm.
I had a very shaky tournament. In fact, I made a draw in the first round with some unrated, and I had a lot of shaky games in this event. So he proposed me for a draw, and
Before the game.
yes, before
Okay.
the game. Okay, I decided to play with black for a win.
Uh-huh.
So after the opening, now I don't remember the exact points, but at some point of time, in fact, I'm not a Kingston, not a regular Kingston player. I'm basically I play ninja openings and
Right.
more sort of solid openings.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, I'm not so happy with my level of preparation and all. Then I offered him a draw,
Okay.
um, and he rejected it, and he started playing. After few more moves, then he offered me a draw. I rejected it. So more than the game here, there was a lot of psychology going on behind it.
I'm just curious, why would he reject a draw? Probably prizes are shared, and if he wins, he gets more money, something like this, maybe.
Probably because he felt that was not the position which I have experience in playing. He's a very solid and experienced player, right?
Right, right.
And so probably he must have felt he's comfortable there. He thought he might convert it into the win or something. I really don't know what went into
He said,
what
yeah,
Ravi.
yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe he felt because I rejected, he wants to
He
show
wants to
that he
punish,
also
yeah.
wants. Yeah. Okay. We don't know what happens. Many things run in our mind.
Sure, sure. Kidambi confirms that if Fomini would win, he was getting clear championship. So
Oh,
now,
okay.
yeah,
Oh,
now it makes sense.
oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, looking at the game, I don't see a point where you are not doing so great. I mean, you just have a complicated position, right?
No, I think just after the opening somewhere I must have offered because this question is quite new for me. I
Okay.
don't have much experience. Some sort of that thing happened. It's not that I had a bad position or something.
Right.
Uh,
I mean, I have played loads of Kings Indian, so for me, this looks like a
yeah,
very strong
very
line.
normal, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, A4 is nice. Actually, after this, I already prefer black.
Black position,
Yeah.
yeah. Is majority and active.
It's very interesting when looking at this game, it's very hard to tell where white went wrong. Just slowly getting outplayed.
Slowly turned out to be a worse for white. So very slowly, yeah.
Very interesting. I would imagine somewhere here. I did not like this knight b3 move. It feels very counterintuitive.
Yeah.
I think once such things happened, already you are doing pretty decent.